Do 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 do. Kirkwood not mad. Welcome back, my friends. We are continuing to make a stop motion animation practice cartoon. So if you're joining us here, we've already made this lovely background with our wonderful character here. I have a little stick person. You can make yours look like that, or you can make yours look more like this. Both are perfectly fine. But here we go. So what I'm going to do, or what we already did, was we made this whole background, and then as you can see, I duplicated my slides and made it so my person moves all the way over to the door. What we're going to do now is start to animate my person and animate our door so that it starts to open. So what I'm going to do first is we're going to basically duplicate the slide, and we're going to start moving this arm upwards so that it pushes this button. That button is going to make this door open, and then behind the door will reveal something, and that's where you guys can have some creative freedom. You can make something, you can post a picture of something. You're going to make something appear behind the door. All right, so we're going to start on our very last slide here, and we're going to go ahead and duplicate this again. And what we're going to do is move this person's arm. So because this person is grouped right now, you can see, oopsie, what happened to my grouping? Well, it's not grouped right now. Normally, your person is grouped into one big group, kind of like, if I look in the first one here, like this, whoopsie, like this. And so you would not be able to move just her arm, but you would want to ungroup her to move her arm. So let me see here. Okay, here we go. And this one is grouped. So let me show you how to ungroup it. You're going to right click on your grouped image. You're going to go back to the group menu, and you can see that instead of group, we're going to go down to ungroup. And that's going to make her become, or your person become, lots of little pieces. And I can now move and rotate this arm. So we're going to put her back to where she needs to be. And we're going to go down here to this piece. Okay, so because this is ungrouped already, I'm going to go ahead and rotate and start to move her arm where I want it to move. So again, we're going to try to do small motions. Okay. We're going to move her arm and rotate it upwards. Now, notice how the circle is starting to go in front of her arm. I don't want that to happen. So the way that we happen is, if you're on shape format, or if you're at home and this pops up over here in this drawing box, you want to find the arrange button. So it might be under shape format, or here under home under drawing. I'm going to click on arrange, and I want to make sure that whatever I have highlighted, so in this case it's my person's arm, I want to make sure I bring that to the front. And that should put it in front of the circle. Now if that doesn't work, you can click on the circle and press send to back. Ooh, too far back. Let's instead just send backward. Perfect. So basically the send forward and backward works like layers. So because my background, this lilac color, is actually an image, when I hit send to back, it sent that circle behind my wall. I don't want it behind the wall. I just want it behind one layer, which is behind my person. Okay. Now I'm going to duplicate again, and I'm just going to keep moving her arm until it's in the position that I want it to be in. Okay, and again, I'm kind of trying to move slowly. And I want her to get to the point where she's pressing the button. So I'm just going to kind of keep rotating. And the reason I'm sliding it up is to keep her shoulder in kind of the right spot. So actually, I like where this is. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate one more time, and this time I'm going to animate or make color to my button to make it look like the button has been pressed. So I'm going to, in order to make it look like it's pressed, I'm going to select my circle, and I'm going to either go to shape format, or I'm going to just right click on that circle and we're going to change its fill. We're going to change it to a different color. Now, because I can just change it to a different color entirely, I can make it kind of look like it lights up by using a brighter color. So let's do that. We're going to use yellow to make it indicate that it's been pressed. And then I'm going to keep it yellow. I'm going to duplicate the slide. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly lower her arm and start to make this door open. So you can see here that in this animation, this version of it, we push the button and then we lowered the arm, took a couple frames to lower the arm, move towards the door a bit more, and then the door is starting to open. And all we're doing on this shape is making it smaller, just a little bit smaller, piece by piece. And by making that rectangle just smaller and smaller each time, it kind of looks like it's opening up. Okay, so that's what we're going to do to our girl here. So I made the button light up, and now I'm going to slowly move her arm back to where I want it to be. So I'm going to move it here and here. And I'm going to duplicate. Move it again. Duplicate. Move it a little bit lower. Okay, it's about where I want it. And now I'm going to move my person a little bit closer. But remember, before I can move my person closer, I need to regroup them, because currently they are they're individual pieces, and we want to make sure that they are all grouped as one. So what I'm trying to do right now is, starting off of my slide, I'm trying to kind of group things. Now, if you get something you don't want grouped, if you hold Control and click it, it'll take it away from that group. Okay, and we're going to want to make sure, oh, it is still grouped. We're going to make sure that we go to group so that things group back together. So I guess if you just hyper-click on things, it moves. But if I just click on her, I can still move her. Perfect. So you want to make sure everything's grouped together, because we're going to slowly start to move her closer to this button and the door. So we're going to duplicate and move a little bit closer, and now I'm going to start slowly opening the door. So all I did was take my outer rectangle, which is my door, and I'm making it a little bit smaller, revealing that darker shape behind it. So let's duplicate again. We'll move her just a little bit closer, and the door opens a little bit more. And then I've probably moved her close enough, so I'm going to leave her there, and we're just going to open the door a little bit more. And we're going to keep on doing that until the door is open. Okay, and again, the smaller steps that you take with your animation, the more smoother and realistic your animation will be. If you do really big chunks at a time, then it will be a lot more difficult to kind of see what's going on, and it will look really choppy. I'm just going to keep opening this door. I'm right-clicking, pressing duplicate, and then making my change, and then I'm doing it again. Duplicate, make my change. So while we're doing this, think about what you want to reveal behind the door. So in my previous video that was made by a different teacher, they chose to put a doggy behind it. Okay, what do you want to be on the other side of the door? I don't know. I am not as much of a dog person, so maybe I would make a cat. But I could see myself do something else. I have a different idea in mind, so I might do that. And we're going to open this door until, if you can see on the other animation, they kind of go until there's a little sliver. They don't, then once it's all the way open, they reveal their little dog and the words. And you can see they kind of made this dog as well using the smiley face feature and all these little shapes. That's up to you what you want to put behind the door, but you want something to be revealed. Let's do a little bit more. And then we'll reveal something behind the door. All right, so I'm going to stop here. We're going to pause the video. I'm going to make a creature with my shapes. And then when I unpause, you will see the creature appear. And then I'll show you how to animate it so that all you have to do is press present and it makes the animation go at its own pace. So I chose to make a little lion here. So I made my little lion, but I wanted to show you how to make speech bubbles. So it's the same kind of process. We're going to go to shapes, and inside shapes, there should be a speech bubble shape. So you've got right here call outs. You can do like a thinking bubble or a speech bubble. You're just going to pick the one you want and draw it out. Again, if you want to flip it, you can rotate it so that it's coming from the right spot. You want to fill it with whatever color you would like it to say. And then inside, if you double click, it should allow you to type. And you want to make sure that your text is in the correct color. So if you go to home and you go to alpha text, there we go. So then I would be able to type in that text box what I want. Okay. So let me pause again and I'll show you, and then we'll come back and show you the animation part. All right, so you can see that I put in a speech bubble here, and then I put in an extra one. So whenever you have text that you want someone to read, you want to include that same slide a couple times so that you have time to read it. All right, so now we're going to make our animation actually play. So instead of me pressing the arrow button to make it go every time, we're going to make it go automatic. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to go up to transitions. And we're going to come over here to where it talks about advancing the slide. So normally in a PowerPoint, you press a button when you're ready to go to the next slide, but in an animation, we want it to run automatically. So we are going to unclick on mouse click, and we're going to select after a certain amount of time. And this is where you kind of have to play with time and figure out what time works best for your computer and your PowerPoint. So I'm going to start with 0.01, so 1/100th of a second. And then all we have to do is press the present button, and it should automatically go. Oh, whoops, I forgot something. Because notice it's not automatically going. So what I have to do is I have to make sure that it goes after that slide. Hold on, what slide did we do that on? We're going to go to the first slide, and we're going to make sure the first slide says after 1/10 of a second. And then we want to press apply to all. So now every slide, everything should do the same timer. So now let's press our present button. And you can see my animation comes to life. Now this is where you're going to edit. You're going to edit and make it even better. So let me get out of this, because you saw that at the end it was almost too fast. So I might want to duplicate this a couple more times so that my roar stays there. And I might want to duplicate my last slide a couple times so that I can also see my person go, ah, at the end. All right. There, so that's a lot better. Now something else you can do is play with the time here. If you don't want it to be 1/100th of a second, you can make it be 1/200th of a second. You can make it be a little bit longer. But you just kind of want to play around with that until you get it to be the way you want it. All right, so that is how you make a basic animation in PowerPoint. So go ahead and play around with your own, get that done. Make sure you submit that to Canvas when you finish. And then after you've finished, we will be talking about what you can do with your own animation. and what you can do to be creative in your own way. All right, thanks so much.